Hi, everybody. I'm Ann,
And I'm John.
and this is
John and Ann's Wrestling Podcast.
Oh, I gotta move your hand. I can't see where. Wait, that's not it. Thank you.
Thank you. I imagine we're like outside and like roaming the city for wrestling. You know, we're like running through the streets and being like, "Oh, look, there's wrestling over there."
Yeah.
And then like an 80s montage kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like very much like the opening of Glow from the Netflix series where they're running around the mall chasing each other.
Right.
Yeah, it's that kind of vibe that I was going for when I picked that song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome to John and Ann's Wrestling Podcast. This week we've got a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Normally there's like a bunch of topics, and this week there's a bunch of stuff that happened.
Well, what's funny is I felt like it was kind of a quiet week for wrestling, actually. I mean, compared to the rest of the world, it feels pretty quiet in the world of wrestling, but a lot actually managed to still happen.
I mean, actually, I feel like a lot of stuff happened in the last just like few days. Yeah, pop open that brewski.
It's a LaCroix.
Look, brewski is
Just
not.
continue
Nobody ever.
on.
Okay.
What are we talking about?
So WWE dropped a big old bomb on everybody, literally last night or 2 nights ago, I guess, depending on when you're watching this.
You don't have to do the rest.
Okay, I wanted to try it once too.
No.
But anyway, you're the sound effects. Ann is like our that guy from Police Academy.
Yeah.
Who was also in Spaceballs. All right, so they are now. This is a rumor that was happening. It was going on for a while, and everybody was like, "That's silly. They shouldn't do that." Because Roman Reigns has both the WWE Championship and the WWE Universal Championship. Still 2 titles, even though technically there's Are those bad?
These are terrible. Look at the flavors on the back. Look at the flavors. Look what I've done.
Liver and onions, old bandage, dirty dishwasher, stink bug, toothpaste, berry blue might be okay. Juicy pear, strawberry banana smoothie, but it could be a dead fish. Oh
I
no.
think I got dead fish.
You got BeanBoozled.
I got BeanBoozled. I hate this so much. I was so excited going into this because, folks, if you've listened to this before, you know that I sometimes like to eat jelly beans during the show. And I was so happy we had a box of jelly beans. I think your sisters gave that to us.
I think this is a Christmas present. I do want to confirm. I did not look.
I want to die.
I did not look.
This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
They do say on the package, naughty or nice, caution, contains weird and wild flavors. These are Johnny Carson jelly beans.
I didn't read the box thoroughly.
Nope.
Because it didn't occur to me that a candy company would do this to someone.
So each color has a good one and a bad one. Did you need an orange one? Because it could have been strawberry banana smoothie, but I think it's dead
not.
fish.
Trust me, it's not.
Okay,
strawberry bananas. It's old fish. It's dead
fish. So
yeah,
you could
it's
get
dead fish is what I ate.
A similar color is peach or barf.
Oh my god. Why would they do this? Why? What?
You see, the joke's on you because I don't even like good jelly beans. I'm not a jelly bean guy.
Can you vamp while I go get another piece of candy that's like a
you
normal
try
piece
a different
of
one?
candy? No, not from that box. That's going in the garbage. That's an evil box.
All right. So
I need you to vamp.
Okay, I'm going to vamp.
I'll be right back.
Okay, so I'll vamp. So, Guillermo, get in here. I'm vamping. Hey, this is what happens when I'm in creative control. Just nothing but hacky bits. All right, so WWE created a new World Heavyweight Championship. Created or revived, who's to say? Not them, because I doubt they have a plan. Roman Reigns has been the WWE champion for over a year. He's been the WWE Universal champion for about 2.5 years now. They've really painted themselves into a corner with their previous lack of planning. And this is very much their MO. Instead of, you feeling better?
Did you even get to the thing of what it is yet, or
Yeah,
are
I
you
did.
still
I said
building
what it
up?
was. I said what it
Oh,
was.
okay.
They created the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So
Mhm.
Roman Reigns has been the champion for 1,000 days, right? But that's only for the Universal title because the WWE title is the one that he won later. Just to give you a quick backstory, the WWE Championship is the original world title in WWE. That's the one they've had since 1963, I believe. 62, 63, I think. Anyway, for about 60 years, they've had this title now. And then the Universal title is one that they created in the most recent brand split in 2016. So it's a very new title. Literally half its lifespan has just been this one Roman Reigns title reign.
Yeah.
Um, and so they want a champion on each brand. So rather than having Cody Rhodes win it when he was super popular at
Mhm.
WrestleMania and then being like, look, I can't keep both these titles. I'm going to create another opportunity for somebody. I'm going to vacate the Universal title.
Yeah.
And then that'll go to SmackDown and you could have a tournament and some stuff. You could have even had the
None of
tournament
that
end with
happened.
Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn, you know what I mean? And have Sami Zayn beat Roman Reigns there or something.
None of that
But no, none
happened.
of that happened. Instead, they did what they normally do, which is nothing matters. They just created a title for. I love that it's like this guy is unbeatable, so let's just stop trying.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if they were trying to have a thing where it's like Roman Reigns cheats a lot, and so he's holding the title hostage. So you know what? To hell with him. We're going to create a new title. And they were like kind of shitting on him a little bit, but I don't think that's what they're doing.
No, I think they would make that abundantly clear if that's
Yeah.
what they were doing.
Also, if like, it's wrestling, so I don't want to like call too much attention to this, but it's like if there's a guy who is clearly cheating a lot, and like if there's a player in football that's constantly like flagrantly cheating. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like not like, oh, he should have been doing this thing. He bent the rules a little bit this way. Like he's having like his friends run on the field to like tackle people so that you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. It's like you would fine him and you would revoke any championships,
Mhm.
something would happen. And in this, it's like our hands are tied,
Mhm.
And I guess that's just the nature of professional wrestling, and that's fine and that's good. But don't pretend like we can't do something else here. But it just makes everybody else look like a bunch of losers, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think that WWE maybe thinks that a lot of people are losers, especially people who watch them or work for them.
Yeah, they definitely don't like anybody that works for them or watches their show. It just is silly to do this. And it's also another thing. I'm such a nerd about like the championship, like lineage and stuff. And I know you have some thoughts on this too. Uh, the last time, so they had the original WWF/WWE Tag Team Championship
Mhm.
and the original brand split in 2002. They brought the WWE Tag Team Championship to Raw, where they had those titles on Raw, and then they created another set of tag team titles for SmackDown.
Mhm.
Raw's world title was just called the World Heavyweight Championship. It was inspired by the NWA and WCW World Heavyweight Championships, not the same lineage, just a belt that looked the same and had a totally new lineage, right?
Mhm.
But it was called the World Heavyweight Championship. So to
Mhm.
match, and then on SmackDown, they
Mhm.
had the WWE Championship, the original championship of the company. So,
Sorry, I'm just enjoying your hand movements.
so we're doing a little too much improv. So they created new tag team titles for SmackDown, and they called them the WWE Tag Team Championship.
Mhm.
So they were trying to match. So on Raw, they changed the original WWE Tag Team Championship to the World Tag Team Championship.
Wow.
So then they just created new titles, also called the WWE Tag Team Championship on SmackDown. All very confusing. They just wanted to match the titles names just in that one moment in time where they were like, let's match the titles, but there's no plan. You know what I mean? It doesn't
Mhm.
matter. So then, like, the original titles are this nondescript name. It wasn't the WWE World Tag Team Championship. It was just the World Tag Team Championship.
Yeah.
And so when they combined those titles in 2010, the two sets of tag titles, because the new one was called the WWE Tag Team Championship and the other one had a nondescript generic name, they got rid of the original titles and kept the new titles, which are now the Raw Tag Team Championship.
Yes. All of that is true.
All of that is very true. And so what I'm saying, the reason why I said all that crap is because now the title that Roman Reigns has held longer is the WWE Universal Championship.
Mm-hmm.
The combined name of those two titles, which are still technically two titles, the combined name is the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. So I have a very clear expectation that they are going to retire the original WWE Championship, keep the Universal Championship that's like 7 years old,
Mm-hmm.
keep this new WWE World Heavyweight Championship belt that has no lineage as of right now. It's not confirmed. This is like a title that's returning. It's just a brand new belt they created out of thin air.
Mm-hmm.
I would bet money that at some point the WWE World Heavyweight Championship will just be called the WWE Championship.
Mm-hmm.
So all this confusion with the other one, I know I'm just being like a very OCD nerd about this.
No, I appreciate
But
it.
it's very annoying, but it's also WWE, right? So they don't care if it's technically a new title. They'll just say Roman Reigns has been champion for 1,000 days. Like they could keep the original WWE title and be like, he's been champion for 1,000 days. Just ignore the fact that they got rid of the title that he had. Yeah, and then 1,000 days.
That's a What We Do in the Shadows
Yeah.
reference, ladies and gentlemen. 1,000 days.
1,000 days. But and so it's like annoying because they'll be like, oh, it's a new title, but then also they'll like, I know they'll just kind of like, splish splash through their history and just like say, acknowledge things
Yeah.
that work in the moment, ignore other things. It just is, it's silly. It's all very silly.
Can I ask you a silly, silly question that almost has nothing to do with this, but kind of does?
Sure, please.
So, as you know, I watched an interview with RJ City and David Arquette,
Mhm.
and it's very funny. It's an episode of Hey W, if anyone's a watcher of that. But he has a belt with him, and I know that he probably holds a championship. I don't know which one he holds.
David Arquette?
Yes. But they kept making a big deal about him not showing it because it wasn't cleared or something.
Mm.
And I'm wondering, does he hold a WCW title?
David Arquette is officially a former WCW World Heavyweight Champion because he won it during the promotion of Ready to Rumble.
It might have been that belt, and I'm wondering, does that share any kind of lineage with any of these titles we've mentioned so far?
That belt. So first of all, WWE owns the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. It owns that because they bought it. So they own anything that like was Jim Crockett Promotions in the early '80s to WCW ending in 2001.
Keep talking. I'm just going to pull it up so we can check out this belt.
It's probably the big gold belt.
It is a big gold belt.
That was it was a version of the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, and then it became, that's the one.
That's
and then it became,
yeah.
And then it eventually they used it as the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, which are two different titles.
Okay.
And then remember when I said that the WWE created the World Heavyweight Championship in 2002 that was awarded to Triple H and they used for about 11 years? That was the same. It was a new title. It wasn't the same, but it was the same belt design.
Okay.
So yeah, WWE, that they own that belt design at this point, I would imagine.
David Arquette is part of this lineage that Roman Reigns is now holding hostage, and that they're erasing
technically
to start. Oh, okay, never mind.
No, WCW title is a different title.
All right, I thought maybe they shared a lineage in later years because you said they own it, right?
They do own it.
Yeah,
because they own all the WCW championships.
But it's not active.
No,
I guess.
It's not.
It's not part of any active.
They retired it in 2001, when The Rock lost it to. Do you know who the final WCW champion was?
Jericho. Am I right?
You are right.
Oh my god.
The Ocho. That was the dose.
I can't believe I'm right.
That was the dose.
That's an amazing amount of.
That was his second.
That's a piece of wrestling trivia that just a few years ago I would never have gotten.
No,
but now I know because I know that The Rock lost to Jericho.
He did,
and I can only imagine they would do something like that if it was for a title change.
Yeah, exactly. Jericho. He was the final WCW champion, and then a year later they brought back the belt. Well, the design of the belt, it was physically a new belt because they added a little WWE logo to it, and it wasn't like falling apart like the WCW title was. But yeah, it was actually this new title because the old one was called the World Heavyweight Championship, and this is called the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And I know it sounds like I'm like splitting hairs by saying that one has WWE in the name and one doesn't, but the old one straight up didn't.
Yeah.
Like, it was very clear that it was called the World Heavyweight Championship. They never like officially called it the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
And so this one could be that title. They haven't said that was the title. It's a similar looking belt. It really just looks like they have it's like a similar design, and they just slapped a giant WWE logo in the middle because they have to have a giant WWE logo on it. It's not a bad looking belt. It just is silly. And then it'll be like when it's eventually called the WWE Championship, it'll be like, oh, I was the WWE champion. Oh, which one? I was like, oh, there's two. And again, they won't care in the moment, but it's like, it's just, for somebody like me who loves canon.
Yes.
It's just, I mean, and not to just rag on WWE for this. I'm still annoyed with New Japan because they had the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. It was a storied championship with a historic lineage, like almost 50-year, actually a full 50-year lineage. And then Kota Ibushi unified the IWGP Heavyweight Championship with the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. And instead of just being like, okay, we'll retire the IC title and call the heavyweight title the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, and it continues on, New Japan just created a new title. So the first champion was Ibushi 2 years ago. And it's just like, why don't we just say it's this, you can still call it, it's like, it's been leveled up, but why is it not have the same lineage?
All right. Can I talk now?
You have, now is your time.
Okay, because I have a thing that you've teed me up for a little bit.
I did. I teed you up.
He teed me up. He wasn't talking over me. He was teeing me up, okay?
Yeah, I was teeing you up.
Don't cancel him.
Don't. Not yet.
Not yet. Well, I have a new theory that's of the theories that I like to author. And that is that we are entering a post-canon era. Because I think that we are at a point where us millennials, we're in our late 30s. We're no longer the kids that are being marketed to. There's new kids that are being marketed to. And a lot of those new kids have they're not going to catch up on 20 years of history for something. Because we shouldn't expect that of them. We didn't do that, because we weren't born at a time when there were a million franchises to have canons that need to be caught up on. I mean, you technically did do that.
I did. I do a lot of it. I watched a lot of Star Wars.
You watched a lot of Star Wars, read a lot of comic books. But let me finish. Let me finish. And so I believe that we are entering a period where all of these massive companies like WWE, Disney, WB, the people who own all these giant canonical franchises are going to say to themselves, how do I get a 20-year-old interested in something that they need a lot of knowledge going into about? And they're going to say to themselves, that seems unlikely. Let's just scrap this. Let's write a multiverse. Let's scrap this title. Let's scrap this, I think they're just going to do away with the history because they need to make new things. And it's too intimidating, I think, for newer fans to have to catch up. You know what I mean? And I think that with wrestling, that is sometimes a problem for people. Like, as a newer wrestling fan myself, I run into this a lot where, I think if AEW hadn't started when it did, I don't know that I would have gotten into wrestling, because there is such an intimidating amount of history you need to know, and people, you feel like you don't belong, or that you don't have any right to talk about it because you haven't watched it since you were 8. So it makes it hard to have as much fun as I think some people have with it. And I think a lot of the people who run these companies understand that and appreciate that and want to create space for newer fans by, kind of giving them a clean slate door through which to enter these things. I know that I explained this to you the other day and it really depressed you. And I'm sorry about that. But I think that's where we're headed.
Sure. I mean, that's probably true. And it's
I still think it's going to be valuable for you to keep this knowledge.
Yeah, of course. It's
because
always valuable.
Someone will have to teach the children.
It's always
the old ways.
The old way. Gather around. Let me explain to you the history of the World Tag Team Championship, not the WWE Tag Team Championship.
Yeah.
yeah, I totally understand that, especially from like a capitalist point of view too. They're just like, oh, we got to sell
And
this to
also just
somebody,
a
and I
passing
know,
of
and just like
time,
a
you know?
yeah, I
Like,
mean, DC and Marvel do that every 20 to 30 years. They reset the continuity
mhm,
because it's like, well, either that or Batman is 100 years old,
yeah.
so you can't very well do that. You do have to find some like it has to, some point it has to matter though, because it's like otherwise you could just reset every show and then you're just watching like a cartoon. Then you're just
Yeah.
watching like a show that like reset. I mean, you can watch Simpsons has been on for 30 years and like it doesn't even. That's just like a device where you just
Mhm.
this is like the situation. We can watch a million episodes of this. It
Yeah.
just goes over and over, and that's it can just be entertaining like that. But something where you're supposed to like that's like dramatic. I think you need to have some amount of like this matters at least up to this point, because
Yeah.
otherwise it's like if somebody dies at the end of a movie and then there's another movie and they're just like back, it's just
Yeah.
it's like
I
okay,
mean,
so
that's
why did I
true.
watch that movie?
I think that's true, but I just also think that, like, at some point, we can't expect
Yeah,
the 20-year-olds of today to watch 18 hours of something in order to enjoy one movie, because
back in my day,
they're just not going to go. They're just not going
back
to.
in my day, I had to watch on VHS
Yeah, he
the
did.
Star Wars special edition. We didn't have I didn't have no streaming service where I could watch the original
When
trilogy, the
no,
original
we were
versions.
kids, you watched it on TNT or you didn't see it.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's like I remember like now I'm such a crazy person about watching like full like if I'm gonna watch something, I gotta watch like all seasons
Oh
of it, and I
God.
gotta watch like the show it's spun off from and all this
Yeah.
stuff. But back when I was younger, it was like I liked watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right? And it's like
Mhm.
I watched like the first three I didn't I'm told I think I missed the first season, and I watched
Mhm.
like maybe 2 through 4 or something, and then
It's
I just like
interesting.
fell off
He
about it.
didn't need any context for
No,
Buffy. For
yeah,
some
that's
reason, something compelled him to watch
don't
it,
worry about
even though he didn't have
anything.
any canonical
And then I
context.
stopped watching it for like 5 years, and then I watched like the seventh season or something that was just like on,
Yeah.
and because it didn't Matt, it wasn't like a streaming service where I could just jump in and watch the whole thing,
Right.
or there wasn't even like DVDs of whole shows at the
Yeah.
time, so it
And
was
they
just
used
like,
to kind of make shows with that kind of viewing habit in mind.
mm-hmm,
Like, it used to, like, nowadays when you watch a streaming show or whatever, it's like supposed to be watched as a whole because
mm-hmm,
they want you to binge it. So it's like very much about propelling you forward and keeping you watching every episode in order. But like back then, they knew people watched it that way
yeah,
or in syndication or whatever. And so they would deliberately make the episodes pretty, understand, it's pretty accessible for people even if they didn't have any context.
yeah. And I think I saw somebody writing about this for like streaming shows now, where it's like a lot of times people will say that any episode that doesn't push the full like the overarching narrative forward is like a
Mhm.
waste or a filler. And it's like, no, those are just like regular episodes of a show. Those are
Yeah.
the episodes that make you care about the characters.
That's how all TV
Yeah,
used to
exactly.
be,
And
was
it's
like
like these are
filler
and then so if
episodes.
something big happens, like you care because you're invested in these
Right.
characters.
Nowadays they do cliffhangers. Like, they used to do cliffhangers only during like sweeps. They used
Yeah.
to do cliffhangers like back when it was like the end of the season or mid-season finale, and they'd want you to like come back for next season, or they want the ratings or whatever. Nowadays, you watch a streaming series, there's a cliffhanger at the end of every episode.
Yeah, because you got to get that next
They
one.
want to keep you in it. It's a
It's
different
really
world, and it's getting more different. And I see it coming. I see it coming. The great shift
this is the most
of
conservative you've
our
ever sounded.
it's no, I'm happy with it. I
No,
think change is
no,
interesting
it
and
is change.
good.
Yeah,
And I think it'll be kind of nice because it'll give some of us who are late to things like a chance to, like, for instance, with the AEW stuff, like I was just saying, like, change gives opportunities for people like me who don't know
mm-hmm.
about stuff to enter the world and say, like, here I am, I can enjoy this, and now because I want to, I can go back and look at all the older stuff, but I don't have to in order to enjoy what's happening right now. You know what I mean?
I have to say that when we go to shows, you have to stop saying that when you walk into the arena. Okay.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Here I am.
Just sit down over there.
Hi, UBS,
Oh,
Serena,
for God's sake.
in Long Island. I wore my little Burberry belt for
Oh, you
Mr.
did.
MJF.
Mr.
I
JF.
I hated that I dressed for that show in like a sweater and jeans and my Burberry belt because that was like what matched the Burberry belt. And then when I like got there, I realized I just looked like a lady from Long Island.
Oh.
Like I just looked like a lady who got a sitter so that she could go to AEW.
We'll go into wrestling. We'll go into the fight.
We're going to the fight, you know. We're gonna
having
go.
a night out.
We'll be home by 10. We're not
Yeah.
gonna stay the whole time.
No,
You
we're
know,
gonna leave.
You don't worry.
We don't need to see Ring of Honor.
Yeah, we got work in the morning.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right.
And
so
I'm
we
outside
should
like honk honk. Get in the car.
so
We should move on. So I just want to say I hope Cody Rhodes does not like immediately win this title because it'll just make him look like a loser. Because this whole thing is just like, you know, like you were saying, like a lot of us were saying, or a lot of people were saying, and I had any benefit of the doubt, there was no plan. There was no plan for Cody to go and like overcome any adversity.
No.
They're just winging it on the fly, as always.
Yeah,
there was
well,
no
it
plan.
was-
There was clearly no plan for Roman to lose. There's no end game in sight. It's just going to go on until Roman
Yeah.
has to retire. Like it doesn't. And it's really sad because it's like we could have written a compelling ending / new chapter for Cody and Roman if we had just done this, but now instead, so maybe they'll just have like Seth Rollins or somebody win the new title to help like establish its new lineage or whatever, and Cody can continue chasing Roman Reigns, and maybe he still can do it. But it'll be very funny when Brock Lesnar wins the new title, and then they're in the same thing. It's just two champions that are never there, and then they'll have to create the new WWE Earth Championship. And then Logan Paul will win that one. And then between the three of them, they'll have one full-time champion.
Yes, dear. All right. Let's move on to something else.
Okay. That was fun, though, right?
Yeah, it was super fun.
Oh, come on.
No, it was good. It was a good little history lesson for
Great.
me.
All right, so Stardom had a big, huge show.
They did. We watched some of it.
I watched about half of it.
Yeah.
Stardom All-Star Grand Queendom.
We watched Mercedes Moné lose.
She did. Actually, spoilers, I watched the three like top title matches, the three singles title matches that were on there, and new champions in all three of them, which was interesting.
Big changes.
Stardom ace and legend Mayu Iwatani, who is like right up there with Kairi Hojo, Kairi Sane, and Io Shirai, Io Sky, as like three of the biggest legends in Stardom. She had a great match with Mercedes, and won the IWGP Women's Championship.
Yeah, and then they did a nice little at the end. They did a face turn for Mercedes, which I thought was nice because I think this is it sucks that she lost, but I think it probably was a good narrative choice because now she can go face and they don't have to have somebody coming in and taking a dump on their company anymore.
Yeah, it's like because she's bringing in like new eyes to the company. Basically, is like she's bringing more audience than has ever been there before.
Yeah,
and so it's probably better.
And
for
her
whole
to be thing until now has been like shit talking everybody and acting like she's better than everyone because she's a heel.
Yeah.
But I imagine after a while you're like, this is a bummer for everybody else.
Yeah. And it's like you said, if you're going to bring eyeballs to the show, you should probably be saying nice things about it, at least eventually.
Yeah.
But it makes sense at first for her to be a heel. But they had a great match. She's been really killing it in all the matches she's been doing for New Japan and Stardom. I think it's only been like 3, but they're all great. So yeah, hopefully she sticks around. She signed a contract extension. We're not sure how long exactly.
I'd say probably like 6 months.
Maybe. It's right now all I could find is that it's one more match that she signed for New Japan because she's coming to
one more match.
Yeah, Resurgence in
I saw
California.
that she's coming to that, but that's the only thing she's signed for.
That's the only thing that I can see that she's like confirmed for. Maybe she's gonna do more, but all I can see is that
I think she's got to show up at Forbidden Door.
Yeah, hopefully.
Why wouldn't they do that?
AEW really needs to like do literally anything it can to get her there.
I know, and it'd be like if she doesn't show up at Forbidden Door, I'm just gonna be aghast.
Yeah,
that's the word that I'm gonna be, aghast, because people have been waiting for her to show up at AEW forever, and this is a show that literally the promotion she's already signed with does with AEW, and so it's like, if she's not there, I mean, we're going to have to call Tony.
Yeah, we're going to have to call him.
We're going to have to give him a call.
Tone,
my man. What's going on?
Teak.
Brosif. We call Tony Brosif.
Brosif.
Yeah, but that's cool. What do we have next?
Well, there's also, I mean, I was just going to mention that I don't have like, I haven't been watching enough Stardom to have like
Yeah.
tons of knowledge about it, but from
Mm.
what I've been seeing, I'm partial to Julia. And she lost. She lost
Poor
she had
Julia.
like one of the shortest World of Stardom championship reigns. She like had to win their G1 essentially. It's called the 5-star Grand Prix. And she won, and she's been like the main character of Stardom for a long time, and she won the world title, and she lost
John's
already.
upset about this because she's Italian.
Yeah, that's probably why. She's an Italian lady.
She's a nice Italian lady
from Japan.
From Japan.
And
from Japania.
Japania.
Japania. That's what it is. That's the word for Japan in Italian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's but yeah, she lost, but she had a great match. I mean, I think I put it as my. Well, we'll find out. All right, we'll just move on to.
Can we do the gossip now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do gossip.
Yay!
It's gossip corner. Gossip corner. Gossip corner. Hang on.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, gossip corner. Okay, so the first gossip.
The first gossip that's coming up tonight.
The first gossip. I mean, you told me this originally, but I'll say it because I like to say things. CM Punk was backstage at Raw.
Yeah.
And then he was asked to leave on the orders of Vince McMahon.
Who wasn't even there.
No, he remotely said, "Get that man out of the building."
Incredible.
Which you know what? There's lots to say about this, but like today I was talking to people about it and I realized that it actually makes me kind of really mad because his wife, AJ, is the executive producer of Women of Wrestling, right? And they are always looking to promote their show. They're a scrappy kind of like, they're on Pluto. But they're always trying to promote that show. And, for him to be this big famous guy and he's going to go hang out backstage at Raw. I'm like, dude, go, I don't know, go promote your wife's like women's wrestling promotion.
I think he may have.
I don't know. Well, I haven't seen a single thing of it. If he did, I would have known. I feel like I would have known.
I just thought I remembered him like tweeting something, but I could be making that up.
A tweet doesn't count.
I could be making that up.
When you know you're gonna make the world go crazy by showing up backstage at a show.
Sure.
It's like, I don't know, show up on your wife's show. I don't know. I just think it's more evidence of him being really selfish, in my opinion.
He probably is. You're right. I mean, what was there an opportunity for him to show up on WoW?
Don't pick this apart.
I just wasn't sure.
What do you mean, was there an opportunity?
I don't know.
There were filming dates, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Maybe he wasn't welcome. He's a Mao. He's a man of wrestling.
All right. I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
It's been mansplained to me that CM Punk has done enough for his wife and doesn't need to do anything.
He's a good husband.
I'm just saying, if he's not working right now, why is he showing up? Why go be a wife guy? Make everyone like you again by being a wife guy. People love wife guys.
People do, and he. It seems like something he would say that he would do too,
Yeah.
Or he would like make fun of somebody else for not doing.
It's just a weird validation of WWE as a product for him to show up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a weird, this is the cool place to be, move that I don't appreciate at this point in history.
The story that I've read was that he was on a plane that happened to be with some WWE people, and he ran into them and did not realize that Raw was at the venue that it was at, which is near where he lives. And so he on a whim decided to go with them backstage to Raw and saw some people and had some conversations with people like The Miz, who he had some heat with, and had some conversations with people to clear the air. So if I want to be optimistic, I can maybe think that he's trying to get right. Maybe the whole AEW thing made him realize that he's an asshole. And he was like, I want to apologize to people. He could have been, sometimes on a whim you want to change.
Sometimes on a whim you decide you want to change your whole life.
Yeah, sometimes.
And
but
be friends with the Miz again.
Yeah, he's making new friends like the Miz.
The Miz, the man everyone should be friends with.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, he probably could have been doing something else with this time though, and it really doesn't look great for AEW. Even if he
it doesn't.
because he has to.
It's rude. It's just such a. Yeah, I don't know.
He has to really understand too, like his fame. You know what I mean? Like he can't just
No,
show
that's
up
what I'm
someplace.
saying.
Yeah.
Like he shows up somewhere, it's news, and he has to know that. So why not show up to something like an indie show or I don't know, something where it's like you're not like tacitly giving a kind of a like weird thumbs up to probably the worst force in the wrestling business today.
I don't think there's any probably about it.
I'm being fair. I'm trying to be fair.
He did go to NJPW Battle in the Valley specifically for Mercedes.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he was in the crowd. He was just sitting in the audience.
I didn't hear that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he got overshadowed by Bailey.
Yeah, it was in play. People were getting him on video and stuff, but he was just sitting in like the
upper
section.
Okay, I do remember this actually. Yeah, I think maybe it just didn't. I don't know. For some reason, it feels like bigger news now when he shows up places. I think his return seems so imminent.
And because he showed up to WWE, that's why.
Yeah, no, that too.
And it's like that feels like a betrayal in a lot of ways.
It's also a big move.
You say that he should do these things to support, but a lot of times when he does do stuff to support, it feels like he's somehow doing it selfishly. Wow. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't it feel like he shows up to support Mercedes? But like, are you here for her, or couldn't you like be backstage or something?
Think how far his brand has fallen.
I know.
You, a CM Punk, a certified CM Punk fanboy,
I know,
can't even like watch him do something nice without assuming it's got some ulterior nasty motive.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it does.
He really needs to do no, but it's evidence of how much work he has to do.
Yeah, he really does. And that all starts by making amends with the Miz. He should support his wife. I want to be clear about that, okay? Come on. I mean, it's done. It's a done deal. What am I talking about? It's a no-brainer.
I don't know. CM Punk, if you're mad at me for saying these things, DM me on Twitter because it'll be funny.
Oh God, you might really be inviting something.
If I get a DM on Twitter from CM Punk, that'll be a great day. So
yeah, you can DM me too,
do it.
But I don't really do anything on Twitter.
Let's do it, Chick Magnet. That's what the CM stands for. I hope everybody knows that. It's not supposed to be. Officially, it stands for nothing, but it stands for Chick Magnet.
Okay, don't do my voice at me.
That wasn't your voice. That's my voice. We just sound similar because we live together.
That's true. It's true.
It's true.
Yeah. We both sound like the comic book guy.
That's what I was going to say. It technically stands for Chick Magnet.
Originally, it was Chick Magnet because of a backyard wrestling team. But then it stood for Chicago Made or Nothing. And sometimes Cookie Monster. You want to buy something?
All right. Is it time for the... Oh, is there more gossip?
Well, this wasn't really gossip. We should have just mentioned it in the last thing. But Mercedes Moné has been very well received backstage in Stardom, apparently, and that's wonderful to hear. Moné. Not that I didn't think she would be. She, I'm sure, is very lovely and professional and everything. Mm-hmm. But it's just nice to hear it as well. It's just that because she theoretically could big time him if she wanted to, because she's more famous obviously than the whole roster.
Sure, but she's a nice person,
and she's been very like appreciative of being there. And,
yeah,
like, she's been very.
I mean, people had opportunities to trash talk her.
Yeah,
and nobody did. So that's a sign to me that she's not a problem.
Yeah, I didn't think she would be, but it's just nice to.
Yeah,
just nice to confirm.
I feel like after she left WWE, had she been a nightmare to people, people could have very easily been like, yeah, well,
Yeah. And she also, I don't think, would be doing a character of that.
Yeah.
If she was really like that. Somebody like that would be like, I want to be the baby face. I want everybody to love me. You know what I mean? Like, she's not going to do.
We're back to Chick Magnet.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
You're
God,
doing another impression of him.
Ew.
John, as you lay there.
Hopefully, as small time as you possibly can be.
Okay, is it time for the awards?
Time for the awards.
It's time. It's time to look back on this week in wrestling and decide who was the best, or at least person we want to talk about the most.
Yeah.
Who gets the award? Coming up next. Okay, that was my public radio thing.
That was great.
Thank you. Okay, so our first award is Promo of the Week, John.
Promo of the week. So technically, this is sort of a group of related promos. I just loved all the 4 pillars on AEW Dynamite, mostly because 3 of them, MJF, who did his like a little backstage segment later, Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, and Darby Allin all kept like being really mean to each other and like brutally shit talking each other and calling each other like fake and like they've been handed stuff, right?
Mhm.
And then each one of them made an explicit point to say to Sammy Guevara, actually, Sammy, I like you.
Yeah.
They all kept saying how much they liked Sammy Guevara.
Which
and
is weird because he's the scummiest one of
I
them
know.
all.
And then he just kept being like, thanks. Like, it's just right. It just was funny because it's like they were all using that device and being like, Sammy, you're a scumbag, but you know what? I actually appreciate that you're honest, you know? But then they all 3 did it. And so it was very funny that they all just, I guess everybody liked Sammy.
Sammy Guevara, he's on his way up.
Yeah. And
he's
I also,
friends with MJF now, you know? They're friends.
They're best friends, yeah. And he is, and it also was just, it's nice to watch those guys. Obviously MJF is like, you know, probably the best promo in the world right now, but like it's nice to see those other guys get time to like get better and grow.
Yeah.
Darby Allin, note though, I know he doesn't take them, but one note, just keep it short. I think he's really good at like a short, intense promo, and then he can do his little like student films that I love, and then just keep it short because otherwise it's just too much. Like he's a kind of mysterious guy. I don't want. He doesn't need to talk too much.
I mean, his other gimmick that he should probably pivot to any minute is just insufferable art student.
Yeah, because that's what I mean. If he talks too long, he becomes that.
Yeah.
And then Jack Perry, even though he's like a Hollywood like, you know, nepo baby guy, like he's not for wrestling, but he's just like a fun, relatable guy.
Jack
and
Perry, it's so funny when Jack Perry tries to talk angrily at people because he has what I call nice guy voice, which is where you can tell he does not habitually like chew people out or even get angry. Like he just has a voice that's like, oh yeah, we could go do that. Yeah, for sure. Like, you know, he just has that kind of tone where you're like, this man is not used to being angry. And it's sweet, but it's also kind of funny then when he tries to do it because you're like, oh, Jack, you don't want to do this. You just want to hang out and do flips with your friends.
It's also funny to see a guy with such beaubeautiful hair try to be mad. It's like, what do you have to be mad about?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Right.
That's mine.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay, mine. I had a few ideas for this. I was actually going to be kind of a smartass and pick the David Arquette interview.
Oh,
but like
that's eligible.
And that was really fun. I highly recommend it. But I think my favorite promo of the week was Stokely Hathaway on Rampage distracting the Hardys so that the Firm could sneak up on them and beat them up. It was great because he was on a video screen, like, you know, the Jumbotron screen, talking to them remotely, like on Zoom, and like to distract them so that it's classic. But what kind of put it over the line for me was like, he stayed there and like watched them getting beat up and was like, this is crazy. And like, and it was just great. And because I love Stokely and I want him to be in it more. And it was great to see him pop up. And I hope he pops up even more in the future.
Great.
Okay.
That was a great one.
Next is match of the week, John.
So do you want to go first? I know I wrote mine down first.
No.
Okay, great. John's pick. This was tough because I watched a lot of great matches. There were a lot of potential mentions. You know, but I went with, I was probably going to pick something from that Stardom show because I saw several excellent matches from that show. I'm going to go with the main event of Stardom, which was Julia defending the World of Stardom Championship.
He always picks the Italians.
Tam Nakano. And I, you know, they just, really beat the shit out of each other. And it was like, it just really was. And it seemed like it was a big, I don't know, again, a lot about their rivalry. And it really, I didn't like seeing Julia lose, but
Mhm.
Tam Nakano is apparently also like a big stardom legend, or, she's been trying to get that title for a long time. And that was her first championship win. And it just was, there were a lot of great matches, even just on that show. Himeka lost to her former tag team partner in her retirement match, and that was emotional.
Mhm.
And then, Mercedes and Mayu Iwatani had a fantastic match that brought a ton of eyes to the show that might not normally be there.
Mhm.
So it brought a lot of new audience. But I just think, that main event was in an important spot because there were new eyes and
Mhm.
they delivered as they always would. And I just think it was like a big thing. It was like, that's the main event. That's the last thing that people from that show are going to leave with. Maybe they were there for Mercedes, but they, ended it with Julia
Yeah.
and Tam Nakano. So I think it was a great match, and they really took some crazy bumps and really were brutal with each other. And also at the end, when Julia lost, you could see her tears coming down. Like she was just laying on the mat with tears coming down her eyes.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was, quite a show.
All right. I watched GCW Into the Light. And I want to say that my favorite match of the week that I've watched was on that pay-per-view, and it was actually the 8-man tag team match, the scramble match from the beginning. Which is always how GCW opens their shows. Like you load the thing and there's already a bunch of dudes in the ring and they're gonna fight each other. But this was particularly good because one guy brought a motorcycle and was driving it around the ring. Not the ring, around the outside of the ring. And then there was a move where someone did the Spanish fly with like two guys flipping him over the top of the vom. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you're in an arena, there's an entry, there's a entry to the floor, and then there's like seats that go over it. Two wrestlers ran up to the top of that and were like hanging over the top of the entrance.
Jeez.
And then another guy got hoisted by another wrestler up so that he could cling on to the railing and grab these two guys and flip them back over, and the whole field was like below, like all the other wrestlers were below them, and so it was just like a giant 8-man pile on the floor. But it was great. I mean, it was dangerous and scared the crap out of me.
Yep.
But like, it was also very exciting, and I think if you're willing to hurt yourself that much, I should give you my silly little podcast award. So
to encourage you to continue to do it.
Yeah, I mean, don't do it.
Yeah.
But
I also like that match because apparently one of the competitors' names is Terry Yaki.
Oh yeah. Well, the guy who did the guy who got hoisted and clung to the vom was Hunter Drake. That's what I remember.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a fun show.
That's great. GCW, keep doing it.
GCW is doing great. Oh, we forgot to say this in the gossip corner.
I did. I meant to write this down as well.
Oh, in gossip corner, rewind. Okay, now in gossip corner we have another piece of gossip.
Yeah,
and it's that Trinity Fatu, who is better known as Naomi from WWE, was backstage at a GCW show recently, which is so cool of her. I bet it was actually the one I just watched. I bet it was Into the Light, because that was in Atlanta, and I think she lives in Florida, so that would make sense for her to be around there.
That's great. I think, I would love if she just completely out of left field did like a Matt Cardona run as like this, or even just like a Nick Cage thing, and she became excuse me, and she became like death match queen. And she just started doing like crazy bloody like box
I would love
cutter,
that too,
like
yeah.
light tube death matches.
It'd be funny because I've spent a lot of time when we talk about her talking about how in interviews I've seen other people give when they talk about her, they say like, oh, she's figuring out what she wants to do right now. And whenever someone says that about a female athlete, I just assume they mean she's like deciding whether or not she's going to get pregnant. And it'd be so funny for me to go from thinking that to her being in like death matches. I'm like, oh. Anyway, okay, fast forward back to okay. So yeah, good job, GCM.
GC Dub.
GC. I wrote GCM on the sheet because I was thinking of the Del Close Marathon DCM. I'm a mess.
Game changer matches.
Anyway, GCW, great job. Check them out. Actually, that pay-per-view is one of the many pay-per-views that are free on Fight if you subscribe to Fight, and I do. So check that out because it's better than paying $40 for something. Anyway, okay, let's do our nerd fantasy bookings.
Okay, mine is just that I hope WWE creates. They say that like Gunther has been unbeaten for too long, so now we're gonna create a new Intercontinental Championship, and then they just do it. They just do it down the line, and we've got 4 of every championship.
This is you trolling.
Yeah.
Nerd fantasy trolling.
Yeah. Sometimes I like to do a fun one.
Yeah, that's fun. Mine is like a little less like fun in the sense that it's very realistic, and so it's not quite an insane fantasy, but like I think that Trinity should be the person to take the belt off Jade at AEW. And I think she should do a double or nothing so that then at Forbidden Door, Mercedes can show up and challenge her.
That would be great.
I think that's an awesome booking. I think that would like make everyone so happy. Including Jade, Jade could partner with Mercedes because she's mad. And the CEO and Jade, I feel like they've got like characters that align pretty well. That align well in a wrestling way, where it's like they're similar enough that you can see them teaming up, but you know eventually it's going to fall apart because they're too similar.
Yeah. Oh,
like they're both
too egotistical.
Yeah, they're both too egotistical. They're both too like
two bosses,
too many bosses. So you know it's going to fall apart eventually, but it's a great wrestling partnership for temporary storyline. And I think that would be really cool. Tony, Broseph, let's get on the phone. Let's hammer it out.
Hammer out the deets.
But that's our show.
That's our whole show.
We did it
with a minimal amount of fighting.
We didn't fight at all.
I know.
Did we?
No.
Did we fight even one time?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, good. Okay. Anyway, tune in next week because we're gonna have a guest again. But I've done a lot of learning since our last guest, so it's gonna be.
You've done a lot of growing.
It's gonna be technically more sound because the last time we had a guest, it was Casey James Salango, who's wonderful, but the sound was a little bad because of my own personal failings. But I've grown.
You've reflected.
I've reflected. I've grown. I've learned new platforms. So I am confident that we will be able to have this guest on without any technical issues whatsoever.
Yeah, last time it was more of a brawl. This time it's going to be more technical style.
Yeah.
Technical.
Yeah, it was kind of last time it was like literally like an impromptu brawl in the crowd of the arena.
Yeah.
And this time it's going to be like a designated match.
Yes.
So
stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Watch NXT Spring Break-In last night.
What, really?
Yeah, tonight when we're recording it, there's a show. I'm not probably going to watch it, but it is just funny that it's called Spring Break-In. I love it.
Oh, that is
not
funny.
Spring Break-In.
It's
just Spring Breaking.
I've heard people talk about NXT more and more lately.
I mean, it's not bad. It's still like a solid little show.
Yeah. Well, I feel like maybe it's getting better because people have started to talk about it. There was a period where no one was talking about it.
Yeah,
now it's starting to be talked about again.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. That was the last little bit of tidbit.
I'll let you know what happened.
Join us next week when we'll have Mean Scotland Green on the podcast. And he'll be talking about pro wrestling potluck and all the other stuff that we talk about normally. Okay, bye.
Whoa. Bye.